like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Coach, Cowboy Nation, how was it going? How everybody doing? How's everyone doing out there in Cowboy land? We here today to have hadn't been on live in a while, hadn't been here with y'all in a while, hadn't had a chance to sit down and, as I like to say, sometimes sit down and fat mouth with y'all for a little while and talk about some things and talk about how this um talk a little bit of Cowboy football talk. Just want to talk about some things that been heavy on my mind. We're going to dive deeply in the next few days. We're going to dive deeply into this new coaching philosophy that we have with Mr. Defensive Coordinator with Mr. Parker, and in our change where it looks like really seriously looks like we're about to make a change to a 3-4 defense, and we're going to really dive into that in the next couple of days because I think the personnel suits the 3-4 perfectly. I know a lot of people is going to start talking about before I dig into what we're going to talk about. But a lot of people talk about where you need that big boy in the middle. You need to get listen. 3-4 is built for a team that has linebackers, and we have undersized defensive ends that could probably be great offense linebackers, and we have guys that are defense five techniques that are ready made to be five techniques like Clark, Quentin Williams, Osa, that, and you have two guys on the defensive end, and we're gonna unpack that in a future video or future segment. And you have two guys that can be ultimately superstars in Izaraku and Agent Zero, Overshawn at outside linebacker. I think the Cowboys can have two of the best big bookend outside linebackers in the league with those two guys, and they can put ultimate pressure onto a quarterback with their athleticism and their aggressiveness. And I think if they get the right coaching and it's done right, these two guys will probably be all world in a 3-4 defense. And we'll probably unpack that, but there are some things that's going to be needed to make that 3-4 defense pop, or to make this defense pop for this coordinator. But we're gonna still pump our brakes to see how the staff is filled out and what direction this goes in. But I wanted to clear up some myths that have been talking about in the last couple of days. And as my show says, are we privileged to be Cowboy fans? And I know some people looking at this show and they're like, what coach is talking about being privileged to be a Cowboy fan? What we're talking about when we're talking about being privileged to be a Cowboy fan? Well, I just had a conversation with someone the other day, and and it was talking about the Cowboy, talking about my Cowboy fandom, and they were really, saying, "Man, how long you been a Cowboy fan?" And it was asking the question, say, "How you doing? What's going on, everybody?" Um, yeah, we we no, we ain't go to the we we went somewhat the expensive route. I don't know if the That's a great observation. Um, I don't know what's the contract for Mister Parker. He wasn't that, and I would say yes, it was somewhat the expensive route, but not the ultimate expense route. Because the ultimate expense route would be getting a name guy that would have came with a lot of money. But I see what you're talking about when you're talking about the expensive route because we're changing coaches. But we're about to unpack that about why that's happening about the coaches. Just stick with me on this, and you'll understand why I have some questions about the expensive route of how we doing this, and if it's just a smoke screen. But getting back to what my friend was talking about, he asked me how long I've been a Cowboy fan. He asked me how long, why I'm a Cowboy fan since I don't live in Dallas. He said, "Why you a Cowboy fan?" And I am a delusional Cowboy fan that thinks the Cowboys can do anything, can't do no wrong. They always gonna win the Super Bowl every year. That it's that we got the best thing. And he asked me, he said, um, "How you feel about your owner? Do you feel he comes back about your owner don't care nothing about you?" And the question was that what do I feel like I'm privileged to be a Cowboy fan? Do the ownership at Dallas feel that we are privileged to be Cowboy fans? Do the ownership, Jerry Jones, the front office, do they feel that we are privileged for us to be Cowboy fans? Do they feel that it's a privilege to play for the Cowboys? Do they feel it's a privilege to coach for the Cowboys and that we should take anything, we should take less, we should be devalued as fan base, we should be given anything, or we should be as coaches, we should take less, take more, less than what they're supposed to be giving out. As players, we should give discounts. We should not be go and look at other teams. We should only negotiate with the Cowboys. We should only have loyalty to the Cowboys. Is that our players, when they say they like their own, that means if the Cowboys like you, that's it. There is no, you can't go no place else. It, is it a privilege just to be a Cowboy fan, to coach, to play in Dallas? And sometimes I feel that ownership feels that we are privileged to be fans. Now that could be very dangerous when your ownership or anything that you like feels that you should be privileged to be a part of it. That's very dangerous because when you go to a store, you go to a clothing store, you go to a restaurant, you go to a restaurant you like to go to, or you go to a gas station you like to go to, or you go to anything that you like to go to, and you patronize it, and you become a fan of it. But you become and you give it your money, you become a customer. You become a person that likes it. You become a person that enjoys wherever you go to. When the company start to feel that you are the one that should be thankful that you're coming to it or you are patronizing it and not them being thankful that you're coming, then you got a problem. Because then they start taking you for granted and then they start giving you anything and you're supposed to accept it. Do that sound like us Cowboy fans? I know some of us gonna say, well, coach, we ain't won 30 years. No, it's not even about winning in 30 years. It's about some of the things that go about that they think that we are just not uh, smart enough to figure out and say we'll take anything. And what makes me think that we are privileged is something I posted on Twitter, on X, back in March of 24, I think. And I'm about to show you what I posted on Twitter. When I saw a sign, somebody posted something that's in the locker room of the Dallas Cowboy complex. And I'm about to show you when I posted that on Twitter and what I said at that particular time, the problem of what that sign said. And I want y'all to think about, as Cowboy fans, repost this, share this, send this out to all your Cowboy fans. It's not talking about how to down the Cowboys. They don't talk about what players we get. They don't talk about that. But it's asking you the question: is this show correct? Do the Cowboys feel that we're privileged to be fans, as well as people are privileged to be a part of the organization? So hang with me when I show you this now. I'm not technical, but I'm going to show you this Twitter post. Oh shucks. I cannot believe I did that. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. I know they went. I thought they went off and tried to look at something else and went off. Went off of it and then came to come back to it. So, is it up there? That's what's up there? There we go. We back. Okay. This was the post that I did on March the 10th, 2024. March the 10th, 2024. And in this post, I posted the thing that's in the Dallas organization. And I hope y'all can see it. I hope it got bigger when I clicked on it for y'all to see. And it's in their locker, in their facility. This is what they say in their facility. And now you can probably see it a little bit bigger. In their facility, they said it is a privilege, not a right, to play, to coach, and work for the Dallas Cowboys. They said it's a privilege to say to play, not a right to play, to coach, and to work for the Dallas Cowboys. And I said that they needed to add, probably needed to add, to be a fan. Because in my post that I posted, along with this picture that they had up there, as you can see, I posted the privilege word is why front office expect team friendly deals from our players. Not only for my players, but they expect team friendly deal from our coaches. And they pay our coaches with lowball salaries. Schottenheimer is the head coach of the most valued franchise in football, and he's only making $4.5 million a year. There's other franchises that are not even close to the value of the Dallas Cowboys, and they're playing their head coaches double digits, or at least $5 or $6 million. The most valued organization in not just football, in sports. But you are privileged. Not that they're privileged to have you. You are privileged to have the Cowboys. And then I said they'll sell you anything. They'll sell us anything as fans. That word privilege is Hollywood. To me, What about using the word earn? What about if we change that word and saying we privileged? They say, what about they said it's a that you earn the right to be to play, to coach, and to work for the Dallas Cowboys. What about if they use that word too? That'd be more football like. But they say you privileged. And that's why I said in my title that they make me feel privileged as a fan because if we don't do what they ask, guess what? If they sells us something that don't work, guess what? They said we gotta live with it. That's on us. And that is very, very, very crazy to me. And I don't understand it that we have and then let's go back to what no my the day and we're gonna go back to another one that I posted. And then we're gonna go back to this poster that I sent today. And this gets me to what I feel about the privilege part. Because we've been hearing a lot about the coaches lately. We've been hearing about Parker, and I think Coach Parker, the defensive coordinator, is a now that I look at I said his resume was not extensive, but now that I see the stuff that they're trying to do with him, I said, okay, this seems like they're trying to support him. And he's a young man, and he's coming in with a lot of aggressive things. And I'm gonna give this guy a shot because that's what we do. We give him a shot. But I said in this post today, I said, Cowboy Nation, let's clear some things. That front office has to stop or value. And here it comes when we talk about the privilege thing, where I think that they could throw us anything and we supposed to fall for it. See, we're looking at Parker and saying Parker fine coaches and as one of the guys put in the Twitter thing in my live said we went the expensive route. Did we really go the expensive route yet? Because what we're saying is that we got a new head coach and that he's firing all these guys and we hired a new coaching staff. Is that the real reason? And I understand if you're a new defensive coordinator, you want new coaches. But are we firing those guys? Or are we letting their contract run out and we just not re-upping their contract? So let me give you a little tidbit that a lot of the front office media won't tell you. Parker didn't fire any of the defensive coaches. They all was on 1 year deals last season. Every defensive coach, in even including Matt Eaglefus, was on a 1 year contract. And the only thing the Cowboys did was they told Matt Eaglefus early that he wasn't coming back. And everybody else they held along because usually their contract probably don't run out into the new league year, which will start maybe I think March the 1st. So they under contract with the Cowboys probably through the end of February. So they kept these guys until February is over, and then if they don't re-up, they go on by their business. And when teams ask to speak to your players, your coaches, yes, somebody could ask to speak to one of their coaches, Overstreet, uh, the defensive line coach. Yes, they have to ask the Cowboys to speak to them. Why? Because they're under contract to the probably the end of February. But after February, they can probably go anywhere they want because they don't have no contract. You said, well, coach, what about Flores? Remember, Flores was with the Minnesota Vikings. He was the defensive coordinator with the Minnesota Vikings. His contract ran up at the end of the year. Flores didn't was a free agent, but his contract ran out. But he probably could go to interviews for head coaching jobs. But he had an extension on the table with the Minnesota Vikings that says if I don't get a head coaching job, I'm gonna come back on another contract to be the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. There's a few players, coaches on our offensive staff that's on more than multi-year contract. Well, one is your real offensive coordinator is your head coach. Maybe a couple other guys that's on a 2-year deals. Everybody on your defensive end was on 1-year deal. And I said in this first point that all your was on 1-year deals. And I shook my head because that's lame duck coaches do not work in the NFL. And I said, Dallas, that has to stop. Jerry, good coaches are not going to come here on 1-year deals. So if you're going to have Parker to go out and try to find a coaching staff that's going to be top ranked coaches that's going to work under him, that's going to give him a wonderful coaching staff under him for him to be successful. And some of the names that you're talking about going to get, which are some very reputable names, you can't do this as an organization and say, well, you should feel privileged to be coaching at the Dallas Cowboys and we're going to give you a 1-year deal. Basically, that's what they probably going to try. Just because this is Dallas. First, we're going to pay you lower than everybody else. Then we're not going to invest in you for more than 1 year. Then if you get paid coaches that for 1 year, you're getting rejects. If you look at the coaching staff on the defensive end, defensive side of the ball last year, some of them came with Eberflus that had been fired, and these guys didn't have a job. Some of these guys came from college that were trying to get a chance to get into the NFL. I'm not saying all these coaches were bad, but to get a guy to come on 1-year deal, he got to have some type of end at that confidence in himself. But that's where the Cowboys says in that post up there that says we supposed to be privileged. It's a privilege to coach, to play, to coach, and to work for the Dallas Cowboys. Isn't it a privilege for people to say, I got guys that are good coaches? Shouldn't the Cowboys feel privileged in somewhat that people they're doing a great job for them, that's promoting them, that's getting them, they're making them money? So this is not the expensive route. Yes, he got to put his staff together. None of those guys had loyalty to be here. But let's talk about some of the words that we always hear from the Dallas Cowboys. Don't our organization always talk about we like our guys? Don't our organization always talk about we like our guys? Don't this organization always talk about when we talk about coach, they always talk about continuity? Well, tell me what continuity you have, or tell me how you like your guys. And we do this with with our free agents too. Clowney, 1-year deal. Most of the guys we sign are 1-year deals. Tell me how much you like your guys when you pick them or you go out and negotiate with them, or coaches that you hire that you're saying that you're going to hire and give them the keys to run your football operations, and you only get 1 damn year contracts. Tell me how much that's saying you like them. Tell me how much it's saying that you got continuity and you done had 4 defensive coordinators and 3 different offensive coordinators in about 5 years. Tell me how much is it saying that you like your guys when Kellen Moore left the Dallas Cowboys because his contract was up. Not that you fired Kellen Moore, his contract was up. You didn't fire Matt Eaglesloops. His contract was up. And you didn't renew it. Nowhere the Cowboys say they fired him. They let the media say that. They let us say that. But they have never said they fired nobody. They just said that we decided to move on. They just said about these coaches, these other assistant coaches. They said they put a thing out that says they told those other coaches they can go and interview and look for other relevant jobs before March the 1st, basically. Because as March the 1st, they're going to be let go anyway. They ain't going to be let go. They just ain't going to resign. But the Cowboys always want you to think, when they say we're privileged, they want you to think that nobody divorced them. They were always the one to file for divorce. It's just like when you have a relationship and your partner feel that you think that you should be privileged, that they dating you or they with you. Tell me how that works. Tell me eventually how that'll work. It should be both ways. The Cowboys should feel privileged that they have a fan base as loyal as we are. And we should feel privileged that we have an ownership and an organization that's doing everything possible to win football games. But in some cases, as my friend was talking to me, in some cases, I feel that they feel that we should be only want to be privileged. That we cheering for the Cowboys. And I think sometimes they feel that they just tolerate us. We celebrate them and they tolerate us. Because they keep giving the same thing. They tell us certain things and their action means different. Now that first part is talking about why we going to get new coaches, right? And I agree we supposed to get new coaches, but they was on 1 year deals. And I bet you if you ask Cowboy Nation, ask about that, I guarantee nobody gonna say, well, they might have been on a 1 year. Eberflus is on a 1 year deal. The whole defensive staff. Who does that? Who brings in a brand new defensive staff and put all of them on lame duck contracts, and then you expect them to be successful? Are you about to do the same thing? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we as fans, should demand that you have some. If we talk about stability and continuity, we should demand that you invest in people so they would invest into doing the right thing with this organization. Because when you don't invest in people and you don't show a serious commitment to them, I ain't ask you to give them a 10-year contract, but when you don't give people a serious commitment, when things start to go wrong, they just they turn on you. And the reason why they turn on you is because what? They're like, I'm going after this year anyway. How can you get players to play for a guy a defensive back guy to play for a guy, a linebacker to play for a guy, a defensive lineman to play for a guy, and he here longer than the defensive line coach. He's here longer than the linebacker coach is here longer than the linebacker coach. How you gonna get them to understand and to invest into their coaching and what their coaching said? We're trying to build you up, trying to develop you, and he don't even know that guy gonna be here next year. I understand if a guy gets a new job because he's good at his job. That's okay. But for you to have a bunch of lame duck coaches and expected that to work, are you doing that to Parker? Is Christian Parker going to get to hire a defensive staff? Is he on more than a 1-year contract? If Matt Eaglefoot was on a 1-year contract, did you hire him on a 1-year contract? Is he going to get to invest in the top assistants by giving them a competitive contract that makes them want to come here and move their families and set up base in Dallas? Or are we going to throw the pitch, or the Jonas is going to throw the pitch to them about they should feel privileged to coach here and take a 1-year deal? And as fans, we should feel privileged that they do that way. And that way of lame duck coaches, check the history, people. That don't win. Now, there was some other points that I put in this. It was 2 other points I put in here. That I said we either got to stop, tell friends to stop, or they got to start valuing it. The second thing was we need to value safety play. We used to value safety play with James Washington and Darren Woodson. Yes. We used to value safety play. And guess what? When our safeties have played well and had all pro seasons, regardless of what year, this defense has excelled. When our safeties have played lackluster and horrible, they have not. And let me tell you something. We need aggressive, young, fast safeties, not old guys, not guys that just okay players and not trying to be great. We need to get safeties that want to be stars, because if this defense goes to a 3-4 with the guys that I just told you about, safeties can be stars. They're going to go unblocked. They're going to have free to roam. They're going to have free to destroy. And they're going to have freedom to make plays. And you need instinctive, athletic, with some size. I need guys that got some size, that are instinctive, athletic, and aggressive. Not guys looking for other people to make tackles. Not guys that's passing up tackles. Not guys that's standing 10 yards off the ball. When the ball snapped, they see run, and they still ain't came up to 8 yards off the ball. Not guys that are what we call pile watchers. They run up to the pile and they stand over and watch the guy on the ground, not getting involved. Not those type of guys. Not guys that not breaking up passes, breaking people down, punishing people, running the alley. Not guys that ain't doing that. I need guys that's doing that. I need guys that's going to be the interchangeable back from free and strong. You're not even going to know who's the strong, who's the free. I need guys that can disguise the defense and allow the other players to play because they direct the back end. I need safeties. I need guys that want to be stars. And if that's in this draft, if that's Caleb Downs, draft him. Do what you can do to get a safety to lead this back end because every time we have done it, we have had dominating defenses. You want to make your cornerbacks better? Give me two dominating safeties. And they'll take the pressure off them. And the third thing is value. Value running back and defense. Build your team by saying, I'm going to have the best running game, the best running back, and we're going to be led by this defense. And guess what? Dak Prescott will be 2 times better than Jake May and the quarterback from Seattle. Dak Prescott will beat them on steroids, and he will have no problem of winning the MVP with less stats. He won't turn the ball over. He will make plays, and you wouldn't need no 2 or 3 wide receivers. This offense will look explosive. It would dominate. You could win a Super Bowl with those 3 things. This value running back and defense. Value getting a running back. Value, if you're going to pay Williams, value paying Williams and get you another running back. Get you another running back. Get you a stable of good running backs. Value that. And value making your defense top notch. Not just going out and get players, but stressing to your defense that they must lead. But the only way we're going to do that is we don't feel like we privileged as a Cowboy fan base. Now, I don't know if y'all feel like y'all privileged. I don't know if y'all feel like, y'all privileged to be Cowboy fans. I don't know if y'all, and I'm back into, I didn't see some of y'all comments. I don't know, but this is where you get problems when your ownership and a team starts to take you for granted as fans, and they start to make you feel that you're privileged, that we can do anything. When they start treating the NFL like the NFL is privileged to have the Cowboys. Oh yes, we will say the Cowboys make a lot of money for the NFL. Then when they have a game, the ratings are over the top. But when you start looking at players and say, well, players should come here for a discount rate. We're not going to get in the bidding war with players. We're not going to offer the players. They got to take what we want to give them because they should be happy because they're playing with the Cowboys. Coaches should come here and we give them 1-year deals and we pay them the lowest salary than anybody in the league, and we give them 1-year deals, and we think that those coaches gonna give you everything they got and gonna be loyal because they should feel privileged because they wearing the star. It can't be nothing else. You hired a whole brand new defensive staff last year. You made the whole world feel that you bringing a whole new staff. You bring a whole new staff in for Brian Schottenheimer. And you bring a whole staff in there and you make him bring in a whole defensive staff on 1-year deals. And you telling me that you like your guys? You like that you gave him the job? So what makes us think as Cowboy fans is if you brought Brian Schottenheimer in here and you let him take his whole coaching staff and you give him a whole defensive staff on the 1-year deals, who thinks that you're going to let Christian Parker come in here and hire defensive staff and you're going to give him coaches that's got more than 1 year? Now, some people might think I'm being negative. I ain't being negative. I'm just speaking common sense. And tell me how that's going to work out. Tell me what type of coaches you're gonna get for 1 year contracts. You're gonna get guys that got some hiccups, might be in a lull in their career, might be needing a job right now, might be saying, I need to take something. Or you might get guys that are trying to come up and say, I'm trying to get a better job someplace else. You think they're giving you loyalty for your team? You think that how they gonna develop somebody they don't hear 1 year deals? And let me give you this tidbit right here. We got a couple more points to cover. Jones has hired Schottenheimer at $4.5 million. Well, what they tell Schottenheimer is this: if you win, we're gonna pay you. So that's the mantra that the Cowboys are running here. If you do well, we're gonna pay you. Everything is on a prove it deal. So if you prove it, we're gonna pay you. Really? What if you win a Super Bowl? Why should I pay you then? I can offer you a little bit more, but I ain't gonna offer you what everybody else get paid. If you walk, guess what? I got a Super Bowl already. I done went 30 years without winning a Super Bowl and it kept a fan base. If I win a Super Bowl next year, you think I'm gonna pay you some more money, the coach, and I got you for a cheap price now? I can let the coach walk. He let Jimmy walk, didn't he? He let a coach that won back-to-back Super Bowls walk. So you don't think he would let a guy that made one this year walk if he asked for too much? This is called. I hate to use that word. I got in trouble. Maybe got in trouble with using the word last time, but this is pimping at his the greatest. I'm gonna use you for what, and actually I ain't gonna pay you. And I ain't gotta pay you that much because you should feel privileged to be here. If you win, then I'm gonna say you're gonna pay you. But after I win, why I gotta pay you? I can let you walk and get somebody else cheaper. Because I win 1 year, evidently that'll carry our fans over for another 30 years. At least. Now some people say, well, coach, you great. But like I said, if you don't think what I'm saying is the truth, give me some information. Tell me why I'm lying. And if you don't, you got star-colored glasses, star-coated glasses. And I'm not saying I'm going to stop being a Cowboy fan, but I had to listen to that guy when he was talking to me because I had to feel that, do I feel privileged? Or are the Cowboys giving me everything that they need to give me? And I feel that they're privileged for me to be a fan. They're privileged for me to put my dollars into them. And I'm privileged to say that I got an organization that's doing everything that they can do to win. They're putting the best, they're hiring the best of the best to be able to win. They're working in the restraints of the salary cap, but the stuff outside the salary cap, they're spending money. Are they doing that? Or we just excited about a guy, and now that guy got working with a budget that's not really feasible. We talking about they brought the guy in for the outside linebacker for coach for the Pittsburgh. Love that guy. Well, being with Pittsburgh for what 9 years, the their outside linebackers always played well. He's a 3-4 guy. You think he gonna leave Pittsburgh or he's gonna come to Dallas where they have given him probably 2 or 3 year deals, and now he's gonna come to Dallas? And what if Dallas offered him a 1 year deal like they offered the last linebacker coach? You think that it's going to entice him to come here? Or we're going to have to take the next best guy because the next best guy going to take a 1 year deal. And then we're going to have to ask Parker to deal with guys that was not his guys, but he had to take the next level guy because you wouldn't pay him a decent salary. This is what I'm saying to y'all Cowboy Nation, that we need to speak up because this was happening to us. Do we feel privileged? Do we think we feel privileged to be a Cowboy fan? George Pickens. If you thought that the Cowboys thought that they felt privileged and they liked their guys and they liked continuity, that they would have offered George Pickens a contract already. Now, I ain't say it got to be 30 million. It might be 21, 22 million. It may be uh Cincinnati Bengals side receiver. You know, you got Chase and then you got the other guy. It may he be him. Contract. That type of contract. Hey, that's not bad for Pickens. Because Pickens not the number one receiver here. CeeDee Lamb has earned that right for a year and year. 1 year don't make you the number one. But you can offer him a very good contract. I ain't say lowball the guy, but a very good contract with amount of years. Put it on the table and said that's what we offering. You got to be, and don't worry about and our fans. I watched something today said gave a spot rack a fair market value of what Pickens supposed to be. Get. Remember this, people. If y'all remember, nothing else Coach Marv say. Everybody who's out there talking about what our free agents should get paid don't give a damn about the Cowboys. They want you to pay. They want you to think somebody is over. They want you to overpay, and they want you to go way overboard because they want you to mess up. And if you listen to that, right, then you just as bad as them because they're just throwing numbers out there. I can tell you this. If somebody wants to give Pickens off of 1 year after he been here 4 years, been in the NFL 4 years, if they want to give him $30 million, where his stats overall for the years that he's been playing doesn't match up to Chase, doesn't match up to Lamb, doesn't match up to Jefferson, doesn't match up to none of the guys that's getting that type of money. If they want to give him $35 million, so be it, let him go. Now, some people say, well, Coach, what are you talking about letting him go? Don't you think if they offered a better number to somebody else, you don't think there's another second wide receiver out there that can come and put numbers? Because let me explain this. Let me give y'all a little tidbit. How many good receivers have not got great numbers with Dak Prescott? You don't think you can get another second wide receiver that would like to come in here for a little bit less? Yeah. No. What other team got 230 million wide receivers? And see, this is what people pushing. You have no other team got that, but we think we need that to win. Okay, it's not about the money. Money never makes a catch. You had 2 wide receivers this year that was dominant. Tell me how that worked out for you. Forget about the money. Put their stats out there right now. Tell me how that worked out. So you gonna invest in that again? I'm not saying you don't give Pickens a contract. I think Pickens is a 22, $23 million receiver. That's the going rate for a top number 2 if you structure it right. But not 30. I'm not paying him more than I'm paying CeeDee Lamb. Are we crazy? But we got people to say that because we got people that's promoting it are people that don't care about the Cowboys, that want you to overspend. Yeah, and we listen to them. They'll put it out there and be like, oh man, we got to pay him $30 million, man. Because I get people every day, all day, that don't even like the Cowboys come up and be talking about signing Pickens. Why you worried about us signing Pickens? And for what money? And you don't like the Cowboys. But if the Cowboys wanted to make it feel that we're not privileged, they would have went to his agent and said, hey, this is the offer. I ain't said he got to take it, but we make a fair offer. And then not franchise tag because I don't want no 1-year deal. Fair offer, and then tell them, say, hey, when free agency hit, go out in the market. And whatever you get, give us a chance to match it. But if you give them a fair offer, guess what? Teams ain't gonna go that far over that fair offer. And if it's a team out there gonna give him $30 million for him to be a number 1 wide receiver, this is what he want to do, right? Wouldn't he want to go somewhere he gonna be the man? But remember, he had that chance already. And I'm not down to Pickens. That's how great organizations work. They have an amount that they're gonna give you, and they ain't going all crazy. And they're not making it personal. They're not going and trying to make it feel that you should feel privileged that that you hear Dallas. I mean, let him get it. I would guarantee you ain't getting it. The only way he gonna get it if our people push it up for him to get 30. There's receivers out here that had to break records to get what they get. Jefferson had to break records to get what he had to get. CeeDee Lamb had to break Cowboy records to get what he got. Lamar Chase had to go through a contract year and break records to get what he got. And we tell him Pickens had one good year, one outstanding year with Dak Prescott, and now if we gonna throw $30 million at him, teams gonna throw $30 million at him. You don't think teams outside of the Cowboys are gonna worry about is some of those things in Pittsburgh gonna flare up if he's not with a Dak Prescott, if he's not with a great quarterback? Do you think some of the teams that already got great quarterbacks and that's been winning without a Pickens, you think they're gonna add a $30 million wide receiver? I'll put if the Cowboys don't give him 30, Pickens probably gonna come in somewhere down the line. If he goes somewhere 25, 26 at the max, if that. It's gonna be a short-term deal. He's gonna get paid, but he's not getting no $30 million. He don't deserve Chase money. He don't deserve CeeDee Lamb money. He don't deserve Lamar Chase Jefferson money. These guys have put in work year in and year out. When they didn't have a number 1 receiver on the other side, when they had bad quarterbacks, they still put up numbers. I'm not taking that away from Pickens. But for somebody to say you get $30 million, let's see. If I was the Cowboys, I'll see. Because whatever they offer for a second wide receiver, they can probably get someplace else. Because if you concentrate on running back and you come on having a dominant defense, you don't need what you need $230 million receivers for. A.J. Brown for the Eagles get big money. Smith took a discounted deal. He making over $20 million, but he ain't making no 30. He took a discounted deal because he knew Eagles went out and said, hey, this is what we offering the second wide receiver. You don't want to take it, we're gonna find a second wide receiver to come in here for that money and do this productive. Guess what Smith said? I want to be in Philly. Sign the deal. The reason why that happened was they didn't play around with it. They didn't let the media get with it and let it fester and all that. They say, this is the money. Let's see if you're going to take it. That's how you deal with people. And the market, let me tell you something about the market. Go back to the market when they say about all these free agents. The only free agents that gets what the market says is quarterback. Nobody else. Everybody comes in loaded in the market. This market stuff is just this affiliate. Your market is based on what the team and their team values you. It's not about what the league values you at. It's about what their team values you and how they can fit you in. So your market value for the Cincinnati might be different than your market value for the Cowboys. Your market value might be different for the New Orleans than it is for the Cowboys or the Chargers than it is for the Raiders. It's about the team's market value that they put on you and their structure to get you in. So if you talk to teams with no cap money, their market value is low. You talk to teams with big cap money, their market might be. You talk to a team that value wide receiver, their market value might be high. It's based off who you talk to. So for Spotify or all these other things to tell you this is the market value for a player, how? Do they know? Does everybody need that guy? No. So, and this again, we should listen to people that's out there throwing numbers around that don't care nothing about the Cowboys. Of course, they're gonna say, "Listen, if I was talking about San Francisco and they had a player, yeah, I say he worth 40 million, $50 million. Let you go ahead and do that because you're gonna be hurt someplace else. Boost you up to do that. Come on, man. Let's be honest and let him find out. Let him walk and say, "Hey, now let's be like this. Let's be honest with it, and let's think about it in these terms. If he loves Dallas so well that you think he does, and he likes living in Dallas like you think he does, if you gave him a competitive offer, let's say if you gave him 25 years, you say 4 years, 100 million, we're gonna guarantee 80 million. And he said, okay, I want that. Okay, okay, test the market. What if somebody come? I can tell you, give you a case in point. Go back and look at the story when Tariq Hill left the Chiefs. And let me give you a summary of how he said it went, so y'all understand how good organizations make you feel like you valued to them, and they value you, and you work in unison to try to get a deal. And if it doesn't work, you have no regrets. He said that his contract was coming up. He said that the Chiefs put a package on the table. He didn't say that we negotiated. He didn't say that I had to drag them or they ain't come and talk to me like our Cowboys me and say they don't have no conversations. Are you working on a contract? They go 2-3 months and they ain't talk to the person. That's type stuff we do because we want everybody to feel like they got to beg us. The Cowboy fan base, not the Cowboy front office makes people that got to beg us. Okay, but he said in the Chiefs, he said they put a package on the table based off their salary structure and what they felt valued of him. Tariq Hill. And he said it was a good deal, but it was a fair deal. But he said no. So they said, all right, go out and seek a trade. Basically, they were telling us, go out there and find you another deal and give us a chance to match it. If we can match it, if not, we'll make the trade for you. Tariq Hill said that's how Kansas City treated him. Is that a bad way to treat a player? No. That's being straight up and honest and say, your value to us is this. This one we gonna give you a fair offer to stay here. He said no. He said he first went to Miami. I think he went to Miami. He had another, and the New York. He had two deals. The New York deal, the Miami deal was a little bit more because of no state tax, and he took the Miami deal. Wasn't that much more? It was a little bit more than the Kansas City offer, and when he took the Miami deal, they traded to Miami. 2 years later, ask him where he wish he would have stayed at, because he would have made just a little bit less and would have had two most Super Bowl champs. He would have been a 3-time Super Bowl champ. Possibly could have got them to a three-peat and would have been made money for a lifetime. But just for a little. Now, offer George picking a deal that's competitive, that's fair. And if he goes out there and get $5 or $10 million more, you could say then, if you so big and bad and bold to think that everybody should be privileged to play here, you could come back then and say, hey, well, Pickens, this is our value of you. This is where we can fit you in our structure. Do you want to still be here in Dallas? And then he have to make that choice. And sometimes people say, man, I'd rather be in Dallas. I'll take that money to be in Dallas than to take $33 million to go play for the Cleveland Browns. But that's how you operate. That's how you operate without saying people are privileged. That's how you operate in what we call a arrogant manner, which I think we talk about stuff. This is where the arrogance comes into the Cowboys. This is where when I say the star. Y'all remember when I said the star of the front office when they start acting fool? I said the star means stubborn, tumultuous, arrogant reactions. I said the star when the front office start acting fool, crazy. They're doing the star treatment. And the star treatment when they doing the acting like is stubborn, tumultuous, arrogant reactions. Are they gonna do this with Parker and his coaching staff? Are they gonna be stubborn to say we only gonna do 1 year contracts? Are they gonna say some tumultuous stuff like, well, we doing it our way, we like our guys, and we want people to prove it to us? That's some stupid tumultuous type stuff. Are they gonna be arrogant and think that hiring 1 year coaches is winnable in this league where they don't have no documentation that wins? Or are they gonna still give us the same reactions they give us all the time? Like we stupid and we supposed to take that. Are they gonna give us stubborn, tumultuous, arrogant reactions? The S stands for stubborn, the T stands for tumultuous, the A stands for arrogant, and the R stands for reactions. Are the front office, when they start acting crazy, are they gonna give us that treatment that they always do when they start acting fool? Because all that stems about that sign that I said is Hollywood that's in their locker room. Instead of saying that you should earn the right to be a player, to a coach, and to work for this great organization, but not feel privileged that we are Cowboy fans. No, Jerry, you should feel privileged that we support your organization. You should feel privileged that you make money off of us. Not that we feel privileged to be a fan of you. It should be worked both ways. It's like I said, relationship. We should feel privileged that we a fan of yours. because we should feel privileged that we got an organization that's doing everything that they can do possibly win, that they're working through the salary cap the way they can work through it, and everything that's not on the salary cap, they're doing everything and spending every penny they can spend to try to win. Are we spending everything we can try to win on the football side, on the stuff that's not on the salary cap? I don't know. Don't look like it. Salary cap got restrictions. Are we spending money on the stuff that ain't got no restrictions to cover up for the stuff that got restrictions? CD is a wide receiver. And if it's slot or wide out, here we go. This I tell you, man, he could be a slot, a wide, in. He catching 100 and some passes and over 1,000 some yards. Slot wide in the red, coming from the backfield makes no difference. He's ultimately productive, and he's done it year and year out. He has had 4 or 5. He has had some of the best years as a cop. He done put up numbers that some Cowboys ain't never, or not some, no Cowboy receiver has done. But like I said, unrealistic expectations. But let's not feel privileged as a Cowboy fans. Let's go out here and see, because again, as I wrap it up, there's two things that I got upset about that I keep thinking about, and I go back about we like our guys. That's a mantra that we live here. This organization lives on. This organization also lives with a mantra of, they say they want continuity. We like our guys, and we want continuity. I don't know how much you like your guys when you're going out here in these free agents. You're trying to get everybody on 1 year contracts. That's not showing guys you like them. Now I understand why you do that. Now everybody gonna say, "Well, coach, you saying that, but why? Why are they doing that?" Well, because this call what we call hedging your bets. Let me explain what hedging the bets mean. And if anybody who's a gambler out there, they know what hedging your bets is. That means you're trying to bet on both sides of the coin. So you can, if you lose one way, you can still win, and you don't lose as much because you betting on both sides. Well, when you start hiring coaches at 1 year deals across the board, guess what you're doing? You're hedging your bets. And what I mean by that is that if they don't work out, when don't, when you're at the end of the year, you let them go. You don't have to pay them no dead money. You ain't got to pay them no money to walk out the door. They already gone. You pay them the end of the contract, and you say goodbye if it don't work out. Now, if you pay them, you get them a 2 or 3 year contract. If they don't work out, if you didn't make the right hire, that's on you. But if it's your guy that you confident that this guy's the right hire, give the guy some respect and say, hey, if I made a mistake, guess who got to pay for the mistake? You, Jerry. Is it gonna break you to pay for the mistake? No. But you act like giving $3, $4 million, a four, a six, $700,000 to a coach to get him out the door because you gave him confidence. You think that's highway robbery? Other teams doing it. People find general managers right now that got 4 years on their contract because they feel that this guy's not the right coach and they're moving on to correct their mistake. And they say, if I got to pay the money, it's my fault because I should have interviewed well. I should have had a better chance of a better, I should have had a better choice. That's on me. but we hedge our bets here. So how much you like your guys? How much you care about continuity if that's what we doing with coaches? Because you got everybody fooled to thinking everybody that this guy is coming here, Christopher Parker coming here and clean house. All these guys on 1 year deals. They should have been started looking for. Don't you understand that the only guys went down into to the to the Senior Bowl to put on the Cowboy thing because they were coaching up through March. You ain't seen them but two coaches, maybe three coaches down there. Guess what those coaches doing down there? They came down there with Dallas Cowboy gear, but they out there looking for their next job and they out there scouting for players that they may have somebody who looking at them to coach. So tell me how good that didn't help you. When you sent them down there with 1 year deals, you thought they were going down and looking for you. You thought they were going to see your boy and doing stuff for you. Let them get it, church. I guarantee you probably won't get it. I'm telling you, man. Teams don't forget Pittsburgh. And it's going to be a team to say, oh, let's give him 30 million. But I guarantee you the team to give him 30 million ain't going to have no CD Lamb. I guarantee the team to give him 30 million ain't going to have no Chase. I guarantee to give him 30 million ain't going to have a true number one wide receiver. So why should we? Because we do it different than everybody else. The team that's going to give him 30 million is the team that's going to value him getting 30 and 30 more million because it's their value to them. I guarantee you he's not going to no place that got a guy that's already making 20, 30 million. They're going to be looking for number two. You think they're going to bring a guy in there and say, okay, now we're going to pay. And if you give 30 million, guess what he's making more than? You're going to pay him more than your number one receiver that them put in 4-5 years of dominance. And this guy that came over here, and that year that he just had is not so great. We look at it like, oh, man, well, slant passes, you got average. When they took the slant pass away from what happened? And I say it again. Look, I tell you like this. Look at the market value. Every year, and I said this a couple times on Twitter, and I stand on it. And I probably could go do research there. I stand on it. If it's not a top tier guy, Pickens ain't no top tier guy. He's not a Chase or Jefferson or Lamb. He ain't got that much work in yet. But if it's not a quarterback and a top tier guy, right? Tell me how many people get what that market value thing say. Because the market value says CD Lamp's got 33, 35. If we say Pickens is at 28, 29, CD Lamb should have got 35, 40 because he had 3 or 4 years that was better than Pickens 1 year. And listen, if the Cowboys offer him 25 and some other team offer him 30, it's his choice to pick where he want to be. Cleveland might offer him 30. Ask Tariq Hill how that worked out for you when you jump for the money. Ask Tariq Hill about how much longer money he could have made by having three Super Bowl rings and being back-to-back Super Bowl winner and possibly going for a 30 and possibly going for a three-peat and how the team would have fared with Tariq Hill on that team going for a three-peat. Ask him, was it worth going to Miami, or he could have stayed in Kansas City for a little bit less? Not much. We ain't talking about a boatload less money. Ask him how much money he could have made in the long run with having those accolades on top of being Tariq Hill. Ask him how you feel about that. Tell me, ask him how much money he probably lost in the long run by making that decision. You just got to be straight up and give people a very reasonable offer. And you know something, Devontae Smith for the Eagles. The Eagles came out and said, "This is what we want to give you." Everybody said, "Dog, Devontae Smith took less than market value." He made very good money, and he found a home that he can go for 3, 4 years, and he's still gonna be younger. But he felt that he was in a spot that won a Super Bowl. And guess what? That Super Bowl championship that he's got added to his name is gonna bring him money for a long period of time, more than just going and getting a salary. I just tell you that we can see it, but there's so many cases that's like that. It was a guy named Alvin Harper that played for the Cowboys. Anybody remember Alvin Harper? Alvin Harper had a chance to stay with the Cowboys for a contract that would have been really good, but not Tampa Bay money. He went to Tampa Bay for a little bit more money. This is no a little bit more money to be a number one wide receiver. He was out the league in a couple of years. He could have stayed in Dallas and probably played in more playoff games and probably got closer to another ring and was in more fame and probably would have been more recognized for his in his career and probably would have made more money after his career over. But he took the money. Sometimes the jumping along is about sometimes the process. Cowboys give him a regular deal, come up with a nice deal. They probably could sign him for way less than this market value, but he would be a very rich guy and make money. But he's going to be a guy as a number two wide receiver, and you're going to pay him as such. You're not going to pay him as a number one wide receiver. If any of our Cowboy fans think you should pay a guy number one wide receiver, I just tell me another team that's winning that do that. And if you can tell me three or four, then I say, yeah, we must do that. If you can have to reach to get one, I'm gonna tell you why anybody else ain't doing that. And we would look like a damn fool that says that our defense is just like this, and know who it look like? Know who we'll look like? Know who we'll look like? The Cincinnati Bengals. Tell me how that's working out. They couldn't even keep their running back. Tell me how that's working out. It's exciting. But our ego as a fan base, we say, "Oh, let Pickens go, we were gonna win." And when he was here, that's the same thing I used to say about CD Lamb. People want to get mad at me. Now y'all about to get mad at me. Not CD Lamb. That's the same thing I said about Mari Cooper. Everybody was crying about Mari Cooper for so many years about, man, Mari Cooper gone. When Mari Cooper was here, I remember we lost in the playoff game because scored a touchdown. We had Mari Cooper, CD Lamb, uh, another wide receiver. We had Dalton. We had and still and had problems. We're the same way, but we needed CD Lamb. We come back the next year. We needed Mark who come back next year to have no one offense without CD Lamb. We still have top five offense with Dak Prescott. With CD Lamb wasn't there with Boo Boo wide receivers. I mean, not with Mark who wasn't there. Nobody talks about that. Do you need a Mark Cooper to be a good offense? No. It's our fan base feel like, oh, we lose a guy. That's we can't survive without the guy because our organization has gotten us to the point where we think if we don't have Prada or Louis Vuitton on, we don't have Louis Vuitton shoes. We don't have no shoes on at all, or we don't have a Louis Vuitton outfit that nothing else works. And it's got to be our Louis Vuitton, something we done pushed up to be Louis Vuitton. not everybody else. And then everybody else pushes everybody we got up to such a level to overprice them because they want us to overprice ourselves. And then they laugh at us after we do it. You sign Pickens to $35 million, $33 million, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And guess what? Once we sign him $35 million and they see a team that beat us with two receivers that ain't making $35 million together, then they're gonna laugh at us talking about how y'all got them $35 million wide receivers. That's what I say. It never fails, man. But listen, my show again, man, about being privileged, man. Let's make these Cowboys, let's make this Cowboy front office wake up. Let's let them know and say, hey, we are Cowboys fans. We Cowboy true and blue. I ain't say we gonna leave them, but please don't feel that you can take us for granted that we should feel privileged to be a Cowboy fan. Please don't let these players feel like they should feel privileged to be on your end. Please make these coaches feel that they earn the right and that you picked them. If you did the interviews, you the one that decided to choose them. Give them respect to say, if I chose you, that I respect you and I feel that you are my guy. I ain't giving you the mountain and the moon, but I'm gonna give you a competitive salary and some years based off that this team is the most valued organization in football. So if I am wrong, I can take the hit. Yes, I can take the hit. So let's make this organization stand up, and I hope we're going to dig into this 3-4 defense, which I think is going to be, if it's done right, we got the personnel that can make it over the top. If it's done right, just gonna give you my little preview of what we're gonna talk about in the near future. Clowney is a dominant 5 tech in a 3-4. Plays the run, can get after the passer, but his run defense plays with his hands. He would be hard to block, head up over the tackle, 3-eye over the guard. He will just be dominant. And you won't have to play him full time. Just being part time will make him even better. Clark, dominant either over the nose or in a three. That same thing, 385. Osa, his speed and what name would be dominant as a 3 tech over the guard. Only thing with Osa could be dominant. Only thing he got to do is be more disciplined. And you got to have a defensive line coach to say, hey, I'm not having you trying to play hero ball. Do it the right way. All this jumping and trying to make plays and go around blocks, it only puts us in harm's way. And you need somebody who can lock into him and make him play discipline. Because when he does, he dominates. Quentin Williams over the center, 3 tech. And who's gonna make this defense rock? Is there Osru number 41? Oh, when he plays with his hands. They already talking about playing him at linebacker. He got size. He can get a little bit. He got athleticism. Him coming off the outside of the line with a stand up. Oh man, with his pass rushing move, playing with his hands, he got long arm. Oh Lord, and then Agent Zero. He's a pass rusher. He got pass rushing there. Play him on the line scrimmage, on the outside linebacker. He plays with his hands. Now he gets to come forward. It's better for his knees. Oh man, he's playing in his speed. He can chase down plays. Oh, this tight ends and if they get to the point where tight ends can't block them, we just gotta find 2 middle linebackers. If we can find 2 middle linebackers, and I'm saying not just find somebody. They got some linebackers that can probably play, but That front five down, add Clowney, that makes six. Add maybe Solomon Thompson come back, add seven. Take the big boy, the rookie last year, he's gonna get better. Add eight. I'll take that 8, 9 that we got, and add the guy that got out of USFL last year, 9. I'll take that 9, 10 up front over anybody. And they could dominate if they're taught the way he played, aggressive, and they're disciplined. And that one thing I like about Mr. Parker. If he comes from Dick Fangio, his team is going to be disciplined about how they go about their work. They ain't going to be flashy. They're going to be disciplined, and they're going to be physical. They're going to be disciplined, and they're going to be physical. If that's what he comes with, that philosophy. But number 41 and 80, they get the right coach, which I think that guy from Pittsburgh could be the right coach, but you gotta respect him. This guy's been he has coached some of the best. So if you coach some of the best, you gotta be respecting them and how they pay you. And I hope that's what they respect. I hope they respect the coaching ranks to be able to give Mr. Parker a good salary and to support him and support a staff that's going to be loyal to him, that's going to have some confidence, and that they're going to trust that they interviewed that that's their guys. And if it doesn't turn out right, they just have to pay the cost. They know how they may have to pay the cost on it, but they got to trust that. Is it a privilege to be a Cowboy fan? Well, is Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones privileged to have such a big fan base? Do they make us feel, take us for granted to make us feel privileged? Should they feel privileged that we support them? And should we feel privileged that we have an organization that's trying to do everything they win? If not, we should feel privileged and we should take everything that they send to us. But let's support our coaches. Let's support Mr. Parker. We just want to make sure that they do everything that they can do to support the young man. And as I always end, and I always say this, man, I hope some of the people who've been following me that's on the East Coast, or shoot, I ain't just East Coast, people that can't get through Texas, because Texas got hit hard by this massive cold storm, this massive winter storm that went through. I pray that the people in Texas and the people in that got hit with torrential icing and stuff like that. I pray that they have some everything in your families and your loved ones are okay. And I pray that if you got your life and you're still here, that that your purpose is not over. Everything else can be brought back. This makes you keep the faith and keep pushing. All the fans that go across this country from here to all the way to the East Coast, I pray that everyone they got through safely. So so I pray that we that we keep pushing forward as a Cowboy Nation. Look forward to me in this coming weekend. Hopefully, I'm gonna say this, and hope he don't get mad when I say it, but Corrier Media. Hopefully, me and him gonna get together and talk about it, because me and Corrier has been talking about 3-4 defense in Dallas for a long time, and we probably was the one of the first that came out saying how well a 3-4 defense would suit some of our guys here, and it would have definitely suited a guy when we had Michael Parsons, but I think it'll fit a guy like Izaraku and Agent Zero just as well as it would have fit Michael Parsons. I'm not saying Michael Parsons is they good, but I think it would be fit. I think they are prototypes outside linebackers in the 3-4. And I think that they can be just as a dynamic as some of the dynamic duos at outside linebacker. Because once they learn it, they can be very aggressive and very nasty with it, and they will give them. but we're gonna need some dog safeties here. And so we may get together. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about it. And we may get together because one of the thing I took it to a Koye meeting about sending him a message because one thing I know Koye can put it on film. I can explain it. He can put it on film. I'm just not the technical guy to put it on film. But I can tell you we could go back, we're gonna break it down and go through that and find out why I feel like the 3-4 defense is gonna be something for this team to reckon with. And if we can get out together, we got this team together, this defense is together. The basics of this defense is together. So now when you add some draft picks, which should be in the secondary only, when we and that back end. Well, now when you add draft picks, they can be able to fit in because you got a veteran base, and they can be able to do their jobs and fit in and be wonderful. But until the next time, as I always tell you, I always say this, man. It's 11. Oh man, it's after 11 o'clock. I always tell you this: um, nothing or no one can stop God's will. Remember that. Nothing or no one can stop God's will. Be safe out there. Take care of each other. Keep being Cowboy fans, and let's keep putting pressure on this organization not to do crazy stuff, but disrespect the fan base and to do everything possible to try to win. And let's do everything possible to try to support them, as we always do. Until next time, salute. Peace.